minimize this here. Okay, actually we're going to start over. I'm going to log in as the admin so that I can show you. I'm not sure if you do have the assets turned on in the group that you're currently using, so I'll just show you quickly how to do that. So logging in as the admin, you would just come to groups and then go ahead and edit. The IT group is probably where you're going to track assets. And then right here there's a question, which asset tracker do you want to use? The default is always none, but if you want to use our internal asset tracker, you'll just need to select that and then save it. And as soon as you do that and then you log back in, you will have access to the Assets tab at the top. So if you are not currently seeing the Assets tab here at the top, that's why. So you'll just have to turn that on. So the first thing that we have here on the agenda is how to tie an asset to a ticket. So once an end user has entered a ticket and your technicians are working them, upon opening the ticket, down here in the underneath estimated completion date, there's an option that says asset. There's an X here and there's a magnifying glass to do a search. So I'm just going to go ahead and click to do the search here. Now it's going to pull the information from the ticket, the group, the category option, the location, and the category there itself. What I most often would do is clear that and then just click search. And it's going to just pull up all of the assets that are available for you to attach. You can pinpoint your search down, maybe if you know the actual location or maybe the category or the asset name. But most often you're just going to do a search for all of them. And then you can go ahead and find the one that you need to attach, and you're just going to click that plus sign right there. So you can see here on the ticket now, it's going to show that actual asset number and the name of it below. So now anything that happens on this ticket is going to be stored with that asset. So if we have several tickets that are coming in on one particular monitor, you're going to be able to see all of the things that have happened with that. So, you know, if you're going to go make a purchase the following year, maybe you won't want to go with that brand or that type again. So once they attach the asset to the ticket here, they don't have to do anything else. So I'm going to show you now what that looks like inside the asset piece. So if I click on assets, the first thing that's going to come up is showing me all of the assets in the system. Now one thing that I do want to point out to you, if you want to search for an asset or add an asset or do anything with the actual assets themselves, you will do it right within this tab. If you notice here on the left-hand side, you have a bunch of options. So this search, this filter, these reports, those things are going to be based off of the tickets itself. But when looking at assets, you'll want to work within this tab. So you can see all of the assets are listed here. I'm just going to go ahead and open one up. Okay, so upon opening that, we do have a bunch of different tabs here at the top. There's only 4 required fields when adding an asset, and those are the top 4 here: the asset number, the name of the asset, the type, and the status. Now, before setting up or importing any assets, you would want to come and add asset types and asset statuses so that you could assign those when you add those in. And those are just here under the settings. It's just the same as adding a priority or a status to a ticket. So you're just basically going to type those in, and then they will appear here in the drop-down. So outside of those 4 required fields, you can see that there's a lot of other information that can be stored. Anywhere that you see, for example, this, it says location, and then it says EHD in parentheses, that's a location within the help desk. Notice down here model number doesn't have EHD in parentheses, and it's because that can be any model number that doesn't have anything to do with the help desk. So that's the difference between those 2 headings there. There is an accounting info tab. You can come in here and put in, you know, the purchase order or what account it came out of. The warranty date is a good one. The disposal method, if you're leasing the item, you know, when that lease expires. So all of that information can be found under the Accounting Info tab. The Network tab, this is where it's going to store basically the information that you're going to get from UV Explorer or what is identifying this asset as being different from another asset. So you have the MAC address, the OS version, the IP address. Now, if you do, the IP addresses most likely are going to change often. So if you do a scan and you import the data into the help desk, it will not duplicate it. It's going to look at other items, but it will update the IP address. Now, the associated tickets, this is where any of the tickets that your technicians attach to this asset, this is where it will show up. So if you have an asset that you want to look at to see what's been going on, coming to this tab would help you to see what tickets have been submitted, what has been done, maybe if something has been replaced or warrantied. So here you're just going to see the number, the group, and the subject. But if you click over here on the binoculars, or I guess they're glasses there, it'll take you right into the ticket. And so you can see, according to the history comments, anything that happened. If there's an attachment, it's just taking you right into the ticket. So rather than doing a search and looking through all tickets to see what happened with that asset, you'll look at the asset and then view the tickets. Software licenses. This is something that you can add to assets. You would need to add all of your software into the program here under this heading of software licenses. And then once you do, they will be available to be selected in this drop-down. So if this particular asset had the Microsoft Office suite on it, I could go ahead and select it, click the plus sign, and now it's telling me that it is on that computer, and it will tell me the version as well. The remote management feature, this is where you would find that. If you do have the remote management feature enabled and you are using that, on the ticket, I'm just going to pull this up so that you can see it. On the ticket itself, there would be a little icon underneath the asset that tells the technician they could click on that and then VPN into that particular machine if they needed to take a look at it from a different location. So that's where it would appear. So this very last one here, additional computer properties, this is actually something, this particular demo was done before we had the UV Explorer integration. And so it's what we call a custom field. It's the same as you guys put on your tickets, the custom fields that you put there. So it's any other items that you want to keep track of or that you want to identify on a particular asset. You can create a custom tab and then go ahead and add those fields in here. Like for example, I have a customer who uses it for transportation, and so they have a custom tab that's going to show when all of the oil changes were for each vehicle, and then also what the VIN number is. It's just another way to identify that, and obviously we're not going to have something like VIN number as a default field to track an asset. So basically, there's a few ways to get assets into your system. You can always come in here and I can just click Add Assets, and I can manually enter all of this. So it might be something that once you've got all of your assets in the system and maybe you're just adding a couple more on later, maybe you do want to just go ahead and add them one at a time. And like I said, there's only 4 required fields. So you could enter that, go ahead and save it, and then now it's in your system. If you wanted to do a search on assets, I could go ahead and click Search here, and it's going to take me to an asset search screen, which looks like the ticketing search screen. But notice all of the items here are just identifiable with assets. So I could do the same within the asset piece that I do within the ticketing system. Is I could create a filter, I can save that, and then I can come here to my filters page and run those at any time. Now vendors, you can go ahead and add vendors in the system. You can import that if you do have it on a CSV file, or you can just go ahead and click Add here, and it's just going to ask you for basic information. So on the software licensing piece, this is where you would come in and add a license. So we're just going to click New, and you're going to put in what the name, the version. If you have vendors in the system already, then they would appear here in the drop-down. The number of licenses, the purchase date, all of that information that would apply there to the software license. And while we're still in here, before we move on to the UV Explorer piece, I'll just go ahead and show you there's an import option. Some people will have this, just like I said, in a CSV file, and they can come here and select the file and then choose the type. And then there's a couple questions here. It's asking if the first line is just labeling, so normally in an Excel spreadsheet where you have the heading types, it'll ask you if that first row is that, and you'll check that if so. And then it will ask you if you want to create a new location or a new group. Most people don't do that because it's already created in the system, but if you're creating your own group just to track those assets, then you can go ahead and do that as well. Then you would just click Load File, and it would put it all into the asset piece. And if you click back here to list assets, then this is where it would be displayed. So that's kind of importing it from a CSV file if that's where you have it. But let's say you're starting fresh and you want to go ahead and use the Explorer program to scan your network. So the Explorer piece is one that you will have to install on one machine on your network. You install it on that machine, and then you can do a search here, discover your network. I would do it right now, but it takes a little too long for me to go ahead and search the whole network while we're doing the webinar. So I have a saved one in here, and it's showing me right now it's highlighted on all devices. Now what you're looking at right now is the free version. This is the version that comes with the HelpDesk. There is, of course, a paid version. If you wanted to purchase this through UV Networks, you could, and it does give you a lot of other options. But the portion that is included with the HelpDesk is just simply to find the assets and then import them when you want to. So here we're looking at all the devices, but it does break it down on the left-hand side. If you can see, I can click all core devices and it will show me those. If I want to look at routers, I can click there and it will only show me the routers. So it's pulling in the name, the IP address, the MAC address, the description. There is something here on the bottom. It is pretty cool, but since I'm on the free version, you wouldn't see it. But if you looked at all devices, you could click the map, and it maps it out for you. And so if you do decide to use this program, you can download it. The first 30 days, you will get to see everything that the program does, so you would be able to see that map. And then after the 30 days, it will just go to this free version. So it does exactly what you need it to do in order to get the items or the assets into the HelpDesk. So down here at the bottom, there is a HelpDesk button. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. So it's going to pull it up for me. Notice I could just go ahead and log in, and it would take me right into the assets page that I was just in when I was showing you how to add those items. So you can work from within here, or you can do that in the HelpDesk as well. But notice it's the same thing. So the first thing that you want to do when you come in here, though, is click on Settings. And this check, you need to make sure that it's enabled in order for that login screen to come up. If you notice, it will just find the location. You'll put that in here. And then it will go ahead and orient that with your HelpDesk. So now that all of the assets have been found and I want to export them, I can go ahead and click here to export the assets. Now the first thing that you want to do when you come in here is click Connect on the right-hand side, just to make sure that it establishes that connection. Once that is grayed out, you know that it is talking to the HelpDesk. And so we're going to go ahead and pick, on the owner portion, you do need to have a person in here. You do also need to have a group so that it knows where to go in the HelpDesk. And then you also need to give it a status. I would just give them all active. Now notice as soon as I selected those options, then my export button became available. So at this point, I could click this top check mark to select all of them. But if I only want to import a couple, then I can go ahead and single select those items as well. So I'll just go ahead and do all of them, and then I'm going to click Export. It is going to tell me that I'm using the free version, so it's only going to export certain items. Click OK, and then it's going to go ahead and export those into the help desk for me. Now remember, if you've already done an export, say 2 months ago, and the IP addresses did change, it's just going in and updating those assets that are already in the system with the current or added information. So that's all you have to do. You can click Close, and now you're right back in here to the UV Explorer piece. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize this. So we're back in the help desk here. So that you can go in and see those assets that you just imported. So those items, again, will just be listed here. But you could also stay within the UV Explorer and just, log right into the help desk from there, either way. But if you notice, these are the ones that I brought in from UV Explorer because it has to be tied to an owner. And these ones up here at the top are ones that I have either added myself or I have taken from a CSV file. But if I come here and look at one of these, so this is the information that was found. It gave me a model number, the manufacturer, the asset description. Of course, there isn't going to be any accounting information because it just pulled it from the UV network. And then here's the identifying information so that it doesn't duplicate the MAC address and the IP address. So if UV Explorer is something that you're looking to just an easy, quick way to get that information into your help desk, you can just simply go download it. And if you notice in the lower right-hand corner, I'm using the free version, but every time I do a discovery, it's going to find everything on my network and it's going to put that into the help desk for me. So it's just a tool to so that you don't have to spend so much time in adding them one at a time or keeping them in an Excel spreadsheet and then moving them over. So it's pretty slick and easy to use. I would definitely recommend playing around with it for a little bit if asset tracking is something that your company needs to be done at this time. And so the last thing that I'm going to go over here is the reporting feature. So with the assets, we have just some banked reports. So if I click here on reports, the options I'm going to have here is to view all my assets by owner, assets by group, type, any of the information that's been entered. So if I go ahead and select assets by type, it's going to run the report for me, and it's just going to organize them and show me everything that's open or active, everything that's inactive, things that have been disposed of. But this is basically how the report would look. So again, any of those items are here that you can report on. But UV Networks also has some different reports, that will come out of that program there. So that is all I have today on the assets. If you have any questions or you need, if you need us to help you get that set up, we can do that for you. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn the time back over to Jasmine to see if we do have any questions, anything that we need to go over.
Perfect. Thank you, Catherine. So we're just going to give about 30 more seconds to let everyone enter in their questions, and then we will start answering them. So go ahead and enter those questions in, and we'll take a look.
Okay, so we had a question on how to download the UV Explorer. All you have to do is go to www.uvnets.com, and it's right there on their homepage. You'll be able to download it from there. They'll send you a key, and you can put that in, and you'll get the entire product free for 30 days. And after the 30 days, you don't have to do anything. It will just turn into the free mode that I showed today. Okay, so we've had quite a few questions about pulling it up and it not being able to. So Jasmine is going to go ahead and show you. So we're going to go to the internet here. And she's going to type in the location. It's uvnets.com. Okay, so when you come here, just scroll down a little bit. It talks about the network device discovery. As soon as you click, actually scroll down just a little bit, there's that map I was talking about there on the right-hand side. That's kind of what that will look like. It'll show you where everything's connected. But at the top, there is an option where it says UV Explorer with monitoring. If you go ahead and click that, there's an option there to download. So in the notes there, if you just put that you're a GroupLink customer, then they'll know that you're probably there just for the free version, but you will get to see all of the options for 30 days.
Okay, I think we have answered all of the questions. I would just like to remind you to connect with us via Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Google+. It's just a good way for us to interact with our customers. Again, I would like to thank you so much for being here today, and if you guys continue to have questions, feel free to submit them or to call us. Have a good day today, and I hope that we see you next time.